Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Ekamaksharam Hridi Nirantaram Bhasate Swayam Likyate Katham Hridaya-kuhara-madhye केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् ह्यहमहमिति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वता मज्जता वा पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम् देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्ततभावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिय दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मना सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं. We begin today's satsang paying our salutations to Ramana, who shines as the self in all beings. Today we are celebrating the Chandramana Yugadi, which signifies the beginning of the new Samvatsara. This Samvatsara is called the Parabhava Samvatsara. Para is supreme, and this is the Samvatsara which is allowing us to remind ourselves we are already that Para, we are already that supreme. So we remember Bhagavan to fill us with great enthusiasm and determination and sincerity to continue our sadhana, to abide as that Para. Remembering Ramana in this every Thursday satsang, we read two verses selected from Guru Vachaka Kovai written by Muruganar Swami, which is the documentation of the answers given for the questions by devotees by Bhagavan Ramana in the Tamil poetry format, and we read the translation of it and meditate on its meaning, and we'll sit down for self-enquiry practice for a few minutes, and after we have meditated and sat down for self-enquiry for two sessions, we have the summing up of these two verses by Venkatesh Deshpandeji, and after which we will sing the Ramana Ashtottaram, we chant the Ramana Ashtottaram, and where we meditate and offer the flowers of attention to the Arunachala Ramana who resides in our heart. We read the first verse that is chosen for us for today's satsang. It is the verse number 197. It's from the section, the state of Shivam. The state of Shivam, the 197th verse. When the deluding ego ghost, the scattered mind, is uprooted, the imaginary division between sentient and insentient also ceases. The jiva that then merges into the light of Sahaja Samadhi, the experience of extremely pure and peaceful awareness, is immaculate Shivam itself. Once again, when the deluded ego ghost, it is nothing but the scattered mind, is uprooted, the imaginary division between sentient and insentient also ceases. The Shiva that then merges in the light of Sahaja Samadhi, the Jiva then merges in the light of Sahaja Samadhi, the experience of the extremely pure and peaceful awareness is immaculate Shiva itself. There's a underlying one statement which says the mind in which ego defilement has perished is Shiva Swarupa itself. The mind in which ego defilement has perished is Shiva Swarupa itself. Ramana in the Arunachala Aksharanamala says, Arunachalamena ahame ninaipavar ahattai veraruppai Arunachala. This has two meanings. One meaning is those who think of Arunachala in the heart, their ego is uprooted, says Ramana in Arunachalakshanamale. And the other meaning is those who think of Arunachala itself is the heart. Arunachalame aham என நினைப்பவர் அகத்தை வேறறுப்பாய் Arunachala. Their ego is completely destroyed. Jnanis like Ramana, whose ego is completely annihilated, for them, the devotee asked Bhagavan, how can a Jnani recognize another Jnani? Ramana would say that there is no other for a Jnani. He only sees everything as one. He only sees Jnana alone. So that was the one consciousness which Ramana was abiding in. He never saw any difference. A great Jnani who has annihilated this ego, they do not see any difference within anyone. Here it says he does not see any difference between sentient and insentient. When somebody came and told who is Ramana, then Ramana pointed out to one brass vase that was kept, and he told, this is well more Ramana than this body, because there is Ramana written on that brass vase. So Ramana saw that there is this same power which engulfs everything, and there is no difference at all. And we could see in this instant also where Ramana himself was singing Ramana Sadguru with the devotees, and one devotee laughed at Ramana and told, how can you sing your own praise? And Ramana reminded, is Ramana Sadguru only this body which is which is 6 feet? He's not the Ramana Sadguru, the all enveloping self. This is the ego alone which creates all these differences. The ego within us, which is telling us this is good, this is bad, this is required, this is not required, this I like, this I don't like, all exist because I feel I am this limited identity. I think I am Ujwal. So when this Ujwal identity is arising, I feel Ujwal like this, Ujwal may not like this. Ujwal will want to do that. He will not want to do that. All these differences, which the scattered mind is created only because of this limited identity called the ego. But there is no difference at all. So there is one example which is given. Because the self is so subtle. If you take a gross, if you take a paper and you tear the paper into two, you have to bring it again together. It's very difficult. You can paste some, you can put some sellotape and fix it together, but it may not be the same way. You cannot use the paper the same way that it was there originally. Similarly, if you take a jug of water, and that is jug of water is subtler than the paper. So the water, if you have divided into two containers, you have two containers and you pour the water in two containers, it becomes two. Again, you have to make it one. You can pour it back into the jug and it will become one. But still, it is still little gross. So still you can see that some drops of water are lost. If you have the very, very perfect way of weighing it, then you can see that there is some loss in the transfer. But imagine you have a space and you have to divide this space into two. So I just take a chalk piece and I will draw a line saying that this part is first part and this is the second part. So I can divide it into more. I can make it into four parts. This part is one, two, three, four parts. Or I can make it into more smaller pieces. And if somebody has to say them, put them all together, then I don't have to do anything at all. I say, okay, there is no division. As the whole space is one. So there is no division at all. So the self is subtler than the Akasha. We see that how our Veda Brahmashri Subrai Sharma ji gives an example. After all, this sky, the sky is untouched. The fire cannot burn it, the water cannot wet it. Thing can happen to this fire, this sky. So after all, this sky is so untouched and so undivided. Imagine the self which is beyond the Panchabhutas, which is beyond the whole universe. How untouched is that self? So we are that self. Ramana says this ego is only creating the imaginary separations. But in truth, there is no separation. There is only one self, Onde Chetana, one consciousness alone exists. But it is the mind which creates this fragmentation. It is just like how there is only white light, but when the white light passes through a prism, then it becomes various colors. It splits into various wavelengths and frequencies, and we can see so many colors of the rainbow. But in essence, there is only one color, which is white. So Ramana says, do not turn your attention away through this prism called the mind. So when you move the attention, the light of attention towards outwards, then it can see all these fragmentation, all the differences. But instead, if we are able to turn the light of attention within to the source of that light, then we understand that there is nothing called ego, and what exists is only one consciousness. So Bhagavan has given us the path of self-enquiry to turn our attention towards the source of the light. So, whenever a thought arises, understand that it is the attention which is moving outwards through the prism of this mind. Quickly, you need to say, for whom is this thought? The thought is for me, and quickly turn the attention towards the heart, towards the source. And if we hold on to this question will destroy all the other thoughts and it will take the ego to its true source, which is undivided, which is Shivam. To that auspiciousness, it will take us and make us merge in that oneness. Until then, let us practice the self enquiry. Let us sit down for the practice of self enquiry for the next 10 minutes. Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Let us read the second verse chosen for today's satsang. It's this verse number 1229 from the Guru Vachaka Kovai. When the husk covering the paddy is removed, it becomes rice. When the husk covering the paddy is removed, it becomes rice. Likewise, the jiva to whom the tie of bondage clings becomes God when that bondage is removed. So it is said by jiva, God, bondage and liberation, all these are the imagination of the flawed mind within the self whose nature is consciousness. Once again, when the husk covering the paddy is removed, it becomes rice. Likewise, the jiva to whom the tie of bondage clings becomes God when the bondage is removed. So it is said, but jiva, so it is said, that is the first part. But jiva, God, bondage, and liberation are all these are the imagination of the flawed mind within the self whose nature is consciousness. Bhagavan has an explanation here. The jiva itself is Shiva. Shiva himself is jiva. It is true that the jiva is no other than Shiva. When the grain is hidden inside the husk, it is called paddy. When it is dehusked, it is called rice. Similarly, so long as one is bound by karma, one remains a jiva. When the bond of ignorance is broken, one shines as jiva, the deity. Thus declares a scriptural text. Bhagwan's explanation. The above verse is telling that Jiva, God, bondage, liberation, all these are the imagination of the flawed mind within the self whose nature is consciousness. The Jiva itself is Shiva. Shiva himself is the Jiva. It is true that the Jiva is no other than Shiva. When the grain is hidden inside the husk, it is called paddy. When it is dehusked, it is called rice. Similarly, so long as one is bound by karma, one remains a jiva. When the bond of the ignorance is broken, one shines as Shiva, the deity. Thus thus declares a scriptural text. Bhagavan is telling that just like how the rice is covered by the husk, we call it paddy. And the paddy is, you cannot use paddy. And when you do the separation process and you take out the husk, then what remains is the rice. Similarly, when our, because we are clinging on to the bondages that we are holding on to, I am this name, I am this form, I am these thoughts, I am these ideas, I am these opinions. So we are holding on to this limited identity, so we are called, because this limited identity is given a name. Just like Paddy, this identity is called this person. But when one is able to remove himself, one is able to take out all the outer coverings and find out what lies within. If one is able to inquire and get back to that, then one will understand one is never this outer husk. One is always the paddy. Even when one is covered by the husk, he is still the rice. He is still, even if we are covered with all these layers of identity, even then, in essence, we are God. We are Shiva, but it is the mind which is creating all these differences. I am Jiva. How can I be God? God is somewhere supreme. He should be somewhere very, very far up in the heaven. We try to separate ourselves from that, and we separate ourselves from everybody in the world. We say this to be attached. These are my people. So we are attached to them, and if we get rid of these people, then we are free. So we are creating these differences, but in essence there is only one Shiva Tattva. There's only one consciousness. We take the example of a drama. In a drama we see that each person will play a different character. One person will be playing the character of the protagonist, and one person may play the role of a villain or a negative character which is creating conflicts and which is creating obstacles. And both of them, one can play a role of Rama, and the other is playing the role of Ravana. It is our mind which is telling, oh, this person, this is Rama. Rama is good, and Ravana is a negative character, and he should be destroyed at the end of this drama. So it is our mind which is creating these differences. But once the drama finishes and there is a curtain call. In the curtain call, all the actors, they'll all stand in the same row and they will all take a bow to remind us that there was actually no difference at all. Everybody is actors and each one is only playing a different role. And it is our mind that which is creating these differences, creating that this is good, this is bad, this I like, this I don't like. And Ramana gives one more example which is much more relatable to the self. He gives the example of how in a movie projection, in a movie theater, a movie is played on the screen. We are so caught up in the serial, in the story of the movie or in the serials. They get caught and they say, oh, this person, oh, he came into the scene. He is going to create a problem right now. So we attach ourselves with these characters that we are looking into. But what is the truth? None of the characters are real. If you open the TV and see, will you find any of the characters? No. If the once the movie is over, if you go and see behind the curtain or in front of the curtain, do you see the actors? No. It is only our mind's perception which is creating these differences. Because it is creating these differences, we are enjoying the movie and we are getting carried away with the movie. The movie is very, very nice movie. We are enjoying the movie. If the movie is very, very gory, it is filled with violence and which is filled with all which disturbing scenes, then we are shaken. We feel, oh, I don't want to see this movie. At that time, Ramana is reminding us, don't be afraid. What exists is only the light. It is the light. When it passes through these lenses, it is creating these various pictures. It is only the play of light and darkness. But what exists is only light. If one is able to turn towards the source of that light, the source of the light which makes this projection possible, when we turn towards that light, then we understand, oh, this is only a movie. It will pass by. This is only a drama. It is already scripted. So you don't have to worry about any of the characters. So we will understand this truth and then we can lead a happy life. Ajnani is the one who only sees the light, whose entire perception is filled with light. When the movie is over, we can see that although the credits are being played, the house lights are on, and in that house light, all the pictures looks dull. So it will not make any impact. So a jnani who has seen the light within, the light of conscious within, then for him these differences, although he sees the differences, it does not touch him, it does not worry him, or he is not carried away with these pictures. So here Ramana is reminding us that light is our own true nature. We are that Shiva. We are that light within. So turn within. How do you turn within? When the mind is turning outward, creating these images, remind the mind, oh mind, for whom is this thought? And the thought is for me. Then turn the attention towards the heart, inward. Inward is the path. And ask the question, who am I? And hold on to this question. And this question will take us to the light within. Even if you don't have to ask the question, if you turn the attention towards that where the feeling of I arises and merge at its source, then too it will take us to our own true nature, which is limitless light, which is of nature of Satchit Ananda, which alone is reality, which alone exists, which alone is awareness, and which alone is bliss. Let us practice self-inquiry for the next 15 minutes, and after which we will have the summing up by Venkatesh Deshpandeji. Bhagavate Shri Ramana. Namo Ramana. I request Venkatesh Deshpandeji to give the summing up remarks.
Namo Ramana. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dhyanamoolam Gurur Murti, Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam, Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa, Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa. So, if you ask a Ajnani, a person who is not established in the self, he'll see that some things are sentient and some things are insentient. Means some things are nitya, some things are anitya. But if you ask a Jnani, what does he say? A Jnani says everything is Shivam, everything is consciousness. There's nothing but consciousness. Now, the three examples which we're all aware of actually tells us this truth. The first example is the rope and the snake. The rope, when the knowledge of the rope is there, just we have to think about this. When the knowledge of the rope is there, so when the knowledge of the snake is there, the rope is not seen. 100% is not seen because you're walking on that dark road and you will see only the snake. You will not see the rope. But the fundamental thing is when you put on the mobile light or a torch light onto the snake, then what happens? You see the rope. Once you see the rope, the snake disappears. This is a beautiful, this is a beautiful example. In spirituality, this is the best example. Once you are in the self, non-self is not there. So it's exactly the same thing. So if somebody walks on the same road and tells you, hey, I saw a snake there, you say, no, 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 I know that it is only a rope. The snake is not there. Snake is just a superimposition. Your mind is saying that there is a snake, but actually there is no snake. You will say that with authority. So that's how Jnani is. Jnani sees only everything as a Satchitananda, existence consciousness. He just sees that, everything as that, as the Atman, the Brahman that we call. The other two examples that we are aware of, and one is the father's death. When Bhagwan's father died, he says, oh, this body is lying here. No, I was calling this body my father. Till now I was calling this body father, and suddenly they're saying this dead body. It's no more Sundarana, it's not my father anymore. It is a dead body. So who was that my father? Was he this body or was it something else? That's when Bhagavan did Manana, he found that there's something else, which is called the father, not this body. The body is only the superimposition. That's the trick of the mind. So always we think we are this body. That's the trick of the mind. The third example, which is very, very true to all devotees, and this has been Bhagavan's biggest lesson that he gave everybody, Murgana down to everybody, he gave this lesson. Before he left the body, he said, where can I go? See, for Jnani, you must understand the words he's saying. He's saying, where can I go? That means, what is he saying? He's in the body right now. He's not left the body yet. But everybody is only following his body. Wherever he walks, everybody is following his body. And Bhagavan finally is saying, where can I go? That means what? That means the outer case that you're seeing right now as Bhagavan is not true. It's going to go. But I am the Satchidananda Atman. I am the Shiva or Shivam, whatever you may call it. I am that consciousness which is all pervading. Nothing happens to it. It cannot be cut. It can't be wetted. Nothing can happen to it. That's who I am. So where is Ramana right now? He's to the left of me, to the right of me, above me, inside me, behind me, everywhere is only Shivam. Is only that Satchidananda Atman. But once I attach myself with a name and form, I say I'm Venkatesh, I've got this body, the superimposition comes. That snake comes. And I forget that consciousness, the base on which everything is being made. It's like that music. When the music is played, there is that pitil box that it'll go they'll just go on. And on top of that, everybody will sing. Exactly the same thing. Bhagavan is saying, that's why they say, don't look at the superimpositions. If you can continuously with your senses look outwards, then you will only see the superimpositions. You will not see the real thing. Like they say, you will not see when you see the beads, you don't see the thread. But once you see the thread, you don't stop seeing the beads. So Bhagavan says that's what's very important in our sadhana. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana uncle. We continue the satsang with the offering of Ramana Shtottaram. When we are chanting the name of Ramana Shtottaram, we offer the flowers of attention to the heart. Otherwise, you can inquire, who is the listener? And the answer is me, and turn your attention towards the I. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामावली अपार सच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। ॐ महासेनमहोंशेन जाताय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः। ॐ गुरवे नमः। ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः। ॐ अहौजसे नमः। ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ जगद्हितावताराय नमः। ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः। ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दरार्यतफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौळिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ मीढ्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसाराधिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविदायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ हृच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ हार्द्रविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगभिषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणभगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रह सुप्रवाह विवशस्तादात्म्य भावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्वगभीर नित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकरात् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नमैदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो रमण. Happy Ugadi to one and all. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
ನಮೋ ರಮಣ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.